Have you ever wondered how the car racing games we play today have evolved over the years? Let's rewind to the 1970s, the dawn of arcade gaming. It was a time when the gaming industry was just beginning to find its feet, and car racing games were at the forefront of this revolution. The first car racing games were simple, to say the least. With pixelated graphics and basic controls, these games were a far cry from the hyper-realistic, adrenaline-pumping experiences we're accustomed to today. But don't let their simplicity fool you. These early games were groundbreaking. They laid the groundwork for the evolution of car racing games, and their impact on the gaming industry cannot be overstated. They introduced the concept of competitive gaming, as players vied to set the highest scores. They also popularized the use of steering wheel controllers, simulating the real-world experience of driving a car. In the late 70s, we saw the emergence of games that added a new layer of realism to the racing experience. Games began to include varying track layouts, multiple cars, and even different weather conditions. This was a significant leap forward in the evolution of car racing games, as it added an element of strategy to the mix. Players now had to think about their choice of car, the optimal racing line, and how to negotiate tricky weather conditions. As the 80s rolled around, the evolution of car racing games continued to accelerate. Developers began to experiment with three-dimensional graphics, creating a more immersive and realistic gaming experience. Racing games were no longer about just setting the highest score. They were about creating a sense of speed and excitement that mirrored real-world racing. From these humble beginnings, car racing games have evolved into a multi-billion-dollar industry. Today, they captivate audiences worldwide with their stunning graphics, realistic physics, and exhilarating gameplay. But as we marvel at the sophistication of modern car racing games, let's not forget the arcade classics of the 70s that started it all. As we moved into the 1980s, car racing games began to take on a new dimension. The advent of 3D graphics was like a gust of fresh wind, injecting a previously unexplored depth into the gaming world. The visual appeal of these games was suddenly not limited to two-dimensional tracks and flat, pixelated cars. Instead, game developers started creating intricate 3D environments that added a whole new layer of realism to the gaming experience. In this era, we saw the release of some truly groundbreaking titles. Hard Drivin' was a prime example. Released in 1989, it was one of the first racing games to feature 3D polygonal graphics. It set a new standard for visual realism in racing games that many developers would seek to emulate in the years to come. Then there was Outrun, a game that not only dazzled with its vibrant 3D graphics, but also revolutionized the genre with its non-linear gameplay. It offered multiple paths to the finish line, allowing players to choose their own route, a feature that was unheard of at the time. This level of freedom and choice was a game changer, adding a new layer of strategy and replayability to the racing experience. Another notable release was Pole Position. This game, though not 3D, was instrumental in shaping the future of racing games. It introduced the concept of qualifying laps and the view from behind the car, which is now a standard in racing games. As the decade progressed, so did the complexity and quality of car racing games. The introduction of 3D graphics, coupled with innovative gameplay mechanics, made these games more immersive and realistic than ever before. The 1980s were a time of rapid evolution and growth for the genre, setting new benchmarks and pushing the boundaries of what was possible in a racing game. The 1980s set the stage for the explosion of popularity that car racing games would experience in the following decades. The seeds planted during this period of innovation would grow and flourish, shaping the future of the genre and paving the way for the incredible car racing games we enjoy today. The 1990s and 2000s marked the golden age of car racing games. This era was a turning point, a time when developers pushed boundaries and transformed the gaming landscape forever. One of the most significant changes was the introduction of realistic physics. Gone were the days of cars that moved like indestructible, weightless boxes. Developers began to simulate the weight and inertia of real-life vehicles, making every turn, every skid, every crash feel so much more real. The result? A driving experience that got your heart racing as if you were behind the wheel of a real car. But what's a car without its shiny exterior? This era also saw a major leap in graphics. Cars were no longer just pixelated blobs, they were beautifully rendered machines, gleaming with realistic lighting and shadows. Even the surroundings got an upgrade. From the neon-lit streets of Tokyo to the sun-drenched highways of California, racing games started to offer breathtakingly beautiful and diverse landscapes. And let's not forget the rise of popular franchises during this period. Titles like Need for Speed and Gran Turismo not only defined the genre, but also became household names. These franchises pushed the envelope, offering gamers a wide array of cars to choose from and tracks that challenged their driving skills. The thrill of racing in these games was not just about winning, it was about mastering the art of driving. The crowning jewel of this golden age, however, was the introduction of online multiplayer. Racing against AI was fun, but nothing compared to the thrill of going head-to-head with real people from around the globe. The unpredictability of human opponents made every race a unique experience, bringing a whole new level of excitement and competition to the genre. The advancements of this era have left a lasting impact on the world of car racing games. They set a new standard, establishing what gamers could expect from a racing game. They transformed the genre from a simple pastime into an immersive, adrenaline-fueled experience. The 2010 S marked a significant shift in the gaming industry with the rise of mobile gaming. This evolution wasn't just a change in platform, but a fundamental shift in how we interact with and consume games. Car racing games, a genre steeped in tradition and beloved by many, were not immune to this transformation. The impact of mobile gaming on car racing games has been substantial and multifaceted. On one hand, it has democratized access to the genre. Racing games, with their need for specialized controllers or steering wheels, were once a hobby for the dedicated. But with the advent of smartphones, anyone with a device could now weave through traffic or speed down a virtual racetrack. This widespread accessibility has resulted in an explosion of casual racing games designed to be picked up and played in short bursts. But that's not to say that hardcore racing games have disappeared. Far from it. Titles like Real Racing and Asphalt series have shown that there's a robust market for traditional, complex racing games on mobile platforms. These games have successfully translated the depth and intricacy of console racing games to the small screen, offering full-fledged campaigns, a plethora of cars to collect and upgrade, and even multiplayer modes for competitive racing. The rise of mobile gaming has also fostered innovation within the genre. Developers have been forced to rethink conventional racing mechanics to accommodate touch controls, often leading to novel and engaging gameplay experiences. For instance, games like CSR Racing have eschewed traditional steering in favor of timing-based mechanics, creating a unique subgenre within the racing category. But perhaps the most significant change brought about by mobile gaming is the shift towards a service-based model. Many mobile racing games are free to play, supported by in-app purchases and advertisements. This model has fundamentally altered the economics of the genre, and has been a source of both opportunity and controversy. The rise of mobile gaming has forever changed the landscape of car racing games. It's broadened the audience, spurred innovation, and shaken up the traditional business model. And as we accelerate into the future, it's clear that this is only the starting line. As we look to the future, it's clear that the world of car racing games is only going to continue evolving. As we stand on the cusp of the future, one can't help but wonder what lies ahead for car racing games. The possibilities are as vast as the open road, and the horizon is filled with exciting prospects. One of the most anticipated developments is the integration of virtual reality. Just imagine, strapping on a headset and finding yourself in the cockpit of a high-performance race car. Feel the vibrations of the engine, hear the roar of the crowd, and see the world whizzing by at high speed. This technology could take the immersive experience of car racing games to an entirely new level, allowing players to live the adrenaline-fueled excitement of the race. Along with virtual reality, we're also likely to see a push towards increased realism. Game developers are already striving to replicate real-world physics and car mechanics as closely as possible, but we're on the threshold of seeing this taken even further. Picture racing games where the wear and tear on your vehicle matters, where the weather and time of day affect your driving, and where each car has its unique handling and performance characteristics. Furthermore, with the rise of mobile gaming, accessibility will continue to be a key focus. Developers will strive to create games that are easy to pick up but hard to master, ensuring that everyone from casual gamers to hardcore racing enthusiasts can enjoy the thrill of the race. We might also see more collaborative and social elements integrated into racing games, reflecting the connected world we live in. Imagine competing in a global tournament from your living room or teaming up with friends to form your own racing team. With so much potential, it's an exciting time to be a fan of car racing games. The road ahead is full of twists and turns, but one thing is for sure. The journey is going to be a thrilling ride. Buckle up, folks. The future of car racing games is just around the corner. From simple arcade games to the immersive experiences we have today, the evolution of car racing games has been a fascinating journey. We've seen the rise of these games from simple pixelated races to today's hyper-realistic mobile gaming experiences. Each decade brought innovation, pushing boundaries, and leading us into a golden age of car racing games. As we look to the future, the trends point towards even more immersive and thrilling experiences. No matter what the future holds, one thing remains clear: car racing games will continue to captivate and entertain us for years to come.